What's up, Bucktooth Buckos? OldManTup coming at you today with Week 10 of the GBA Season 5 against the New Orleans Pelippers and Pokemon, aka John. And we had a few scheduling conflicts to get this match done, and then when we finally were able to get it done Saturday morning, we had issues with connectivity through Wi-Fi and some of the Pokemon, and we had DCs, so we ended up having to do this on Showdown. So I apologize that it's going to be the second match of the season on Showdown. But, yeah, again, I managed to lose the live footage, but we do have live recording. And yeah, and I would like to thank Professor Willow for the art, and I would like to apologize to Tom, Jen, my mom, who did not actually get to be used this week. So John is challenging us. And we're going to see the team here, and I think overall lead art chops is the best option. I had considered going with Ambipom, but considering it isn't U-turn Ambipom, I really didn't want to do that. I see he's got the shiny Raikou, so it's probably going to be Aura Sphere, which means that's going to be really bad for my team. Looking over the lineup, we're just taking a look to see what's going on here. Yep, we got our art chops there. We got Sub Blue, Requiem, Ruben, Handsome, and Hot Dog. Now, we click to lead with our chops, and we're going to send out the good luck, have fun, and we're going to ignore spectators because that was annoying last time. So, John and I are probably doing our respective intros as we did this. And, fun fact, it's John's girlfriend's birthday, Nikki, this week. So, happy birthday to her, and that was half the reason why we had to get it done so early Saturday morning, was so he could go be a good boyfriend to his girlfriend. So, that was awesome, and speaks to the character of John, aka Pokemon. And we're going to lead off with our chops here, and he's going to lead off with Hannibal the Dawn Fan, and we're obviously just going to set up rocks here, and I thought maybe he would just rapid spin to break our sash right away because he figured we'd rocks right off, but he goes for the knockoff here. Now I'm like, is he going to spin this turn, or is he going to set up his own rocks? Because those are the things that Dawn fans do. So I'm like, he's got the knockoff, we can go into Requiem, even if he knocks off again, we can take another hit, and we can just burn whatever wants to come in. So that's what we do. And he is going to double knockoff here. I was like, okay, not getting rocks up early, but getting rid of our leftovers. And that's really good for him. But this is just an easy call right here. He has no fire types on his team, and we're just going to get the free Will-O-Wisp off on whatever he decides to bring in here. So, Dawn Fan, not really a threat to this Requiem, especially now that he has knocked off our leftovers. If we get this thing burned, it would be fantastic right away, but I don't think he's going to leave this thing in to get possibly scalded. So we're going to see what is coming up here. And I forgot how drug out the turns were in this match, even though it was just this morning. But he's taking his time, and he is going to go out into Tulip his Florges. We are going to get the burn, and it's going to hit this turn. So he was probably predicting that, and is carrying the heal bell to be able to heal off this energy. Now, there isn't much this can do to us, even an energy ball. If Florges gets that, I apologize. Don't have that in my brain right away. It is not going to do a terrible lot because of our bulk. Even though we're physically bulky, we have high base special defense, and we should be able to take that relatively well. But we do have Hot Dog, who is our answer to this, and our means to scare it out. We could switch into Ruben. I didn't want him doing any shenanigans here, getting anything off early. So we are just going to go into Hot Dog, and that is going to bring out Arcanine, get the Intimidate off, and he's just going to heal bell, getting rid of the burn. So this turn, I'm just going to show the Flare Blitz, because anything he brings in that's going to do moderate damage to, outside of Dawn Fan, even though the Hydragen resists it, a Flare Blitz is going to do a ton of damage. And he's going to protect to see what we do. Very good play on his part. It's going to get leftover recovery. And Flare Blitz is going to be tipped off there. Now, I expect him to go out into Dawn Fan here. And that's why we're going to go right back out into Requiem, who is going to make it very hard for that thing to set up anything. Yeah. Actually, we're going to go out into blue here. And he's going to go out into Blobby here. I don't know what he was expecting to do with that. Flare Blitz does about 50% to this thing, even at fully physically defensive, with no investment. So he's going to bring in the Blobby, and I'm fearing the Focus Blast here. This thing can be very dangerous, could start setting up Calm Minds, predicting my switch, but Focus Blast is the immediate threat. And he's just going to switch straight out into Florges. And we're back at this set here. I'm going to go for taking a look at Ruben to see if he is going to be the set here. Again, I don't want him to get a prediction, and considering half my team is weak to fighting, get an HP fighting off if he was packing that. So we are just going to go for the Will-O-Wisp here. He's going to Moon Blast us, and I'm like, that did way too much. And I don't think we're going to be able to take another one, especially since we had our leftovers knocked off, and unfortunately for us, the Will-O-Wisp is going to miss. And that isn't going to play too terribly much into this. But that is just going to make it a little bit harder for us to take down this Florges in the long run. So we're weighing our options. We want to go back out into the same thing we went into the last time and give him the ability to predict. We do get the Intimidate off, and he's just going to go for the Moon Blast. That does negligible damage. And we're just going to be able to drop another Flare Blitz, because nothing he's going to bring in is going to want to take this too terribly much outside of the Dawn Fan. And considering he didn't bring it the first time, he may be fearing the Will-O-Wisp. But we aren't carrying that on this set this week, which was emphasized in the team builder as to why we ran this specific set. Bulldoze hits everything that Flare Blitz doesn't, pretty much. Again, outside of the Dawn Fan, there isn't much Arcanine can do to Dawn Fan. So we're weighing our options, trying to figure out what we want to do. He's going to bring Blobby out again, and we are just going to go for the Flare Blitz. That's a critical hit, and that does a ton of damage. Now we see he's got the Rocky Helmet here, so this is probably just the Regenerator instant switch in and out to get health and absorb damage, but that crit is really going to make it hard for this thing to keep doing that. Now another thing is he may have the Overcoat, Magic Guard, whatever the heck this thing has, that prevents it from taking damage from weather effects, considering we run a weather team. And he's going to switch out here, going to go into Florges, and I'm like, okay, we got a good switch right there. Good initiative. We have Handsome, the Ambipom, who is going to stand up to this thing very well. We got the Gunk Shot, brought it this week just for this thing, and it also does a number on his team. Now we are the Expert Belt variant this week, and we do go for the Gunk Shot, and he's going to stay in, and I'm thinking he's going to bring in the Dawn Fan. Even if I were to hit that on the switch, 2 Ice Punches is just not quite enough to take it out. Leftovers gonna get knocked off there with that knockoff, which is fantastic, and that is gonna get us on the right path to slowly whittling this thing down. Now, Archeops is the most expendable thing to bring on this thing at this point. He's gonna get the Earthquake off, and that's gonna do nothing. So I really thought he might try and switch play around here to something else to take the Endeavor, like Blobby, who is at a bit lower health. Gonna go for the Stone Edge here, that's gonna miss, but ultimately not going to matter in the spectrum. We are just gonna Endeavor here. He's gonna get his own rocks up. And I'm trying to think, is he going to try to attack me? Or is he going, like, go for the Ice Shard, or is he going to spin this turn? And if he goes for the Ice Shard, Endeavor is my best play, because if he doesn't kill me, I'm going to take him down, and that'll be my only chance at that point to get anything off. But he doesn't, he just goes for the spin. And Rapid Spin, Stealth Rocks, Earthquake, and Knockoff. So now we know his entire set. So we get the... we go down there after another knockoff. We're going to bring an Ambipom, and this thing is well within range of an Ice Punch taking it out. And nothing really wants to come in and get Ice Punched in the face. So Ambipom staring down Dawn Fan, and we're down at the moment 5-6 right off. So even though we're about 20 turns in, we're 5-5, and we're not looking too bad. Now he's going to bring in Hydreigon here, and the only way he would bring it in is if it was Scarfed. There's no other reason for him to bring it in. I'm going to bring in Hot Dog here just to get the Intimidate off, and he is going to land a Draco Meteor. I really thought he might be going for the Fighting type move there, Superpower, because it wails everything on the rest of my team. But now that he's negative special attack, negative attack, I can bring in Ruben, who will outspeed everything else on his team that isn't Scarfed. We're still going on believing this is Scarfed at this point, and that is why he brought it in on the Ambipom. So pretty much nothing else on his team is going to want to take much. And I ran a few calcs here, and against the majority of his team, Iron Head is the best play, because he's not going to be bringing in Raikou on this unless it's Air Balloon, and I highly doubt that. He's just going to bring in Blobby. Blobby's going to take a huge amount from Iron Head, and we're going to get the recoil damage there, which is no good. And we're just going to drop another Iron Head. I really don't think he's going to risk me not being Scarfed at this point, because he doesn't know, because Blobby is just so abysmally slow, and that was a switch, so he wouldn't know anyways. So, stuff and things, good to know. We are just going to stay in and go for the Iron Head, because it's going to take this out. It would have been a supremely good play had he doubled out into the Raikou, provided that I didn't, you know, flinch the crap out of him. But, you know, he wouldn't have really had a good option to go to at that point, because we still had the Jellicent and Excadrill, so if he went for the Aura Sphere, if he is packing it, that would have been negated by the Jellicent switch in. And we're 4-5, and we're looking at this, and what are we going to do? 4-5, just like a record. Gonna get another Iron Head off, which is going to take that thing down, which is good for us. Now he has a few options to bring in here. It looks like 3 things on... well, actually it looks like the rest of his team could potentially be carrying fighting type moves if he has Hidden Power Fighting on the Florges. He's got Verzion, which still has Fighting Stab and is very quick. He is going to bring the American P in here, the Verzion, and we're just going to switch out into Requiem. See if we can get a handle on maybe what variant of Verzion this is, because both special and physical sets can be run. Both very effective in the League format. But we're going to bring in Requiem, getting at the close combat off here. We don't see any leftover recovery on his side, So if he is choiced in any way, we'll be able to get this recover off, but he's not. He's going to get the Leaf Blade off. That's super effective, and that's going to take us down. One thing we do know, we outspeed it now, so we can bring in Ambipom. And Ambipom doesn't really have much left in its way to just gunk shot the crap out of everything. So Ambipom's going to get the gunk shot off. And that's going to be really good. If he stays in, that will take this thing out 100% of the time. So if he stays in, that's going to be a dead Virizion. Ambipom's going to notch up its second kill of the week. And that would just be fantastic considering how often we've had to shelf Ambipom due to tight matchups. Mainly because of things like this week where we end up with 3 Pokemon that are weak to fighting type moves. But, yeah. We're going for the gunk shot, and I really don't think he wants to bring in anything to take it, because the only thing that's going to outspeed us on his team is that Hydreigon if he is Scarfed. So that is going to be very problematic for us the rest of the match if he is indeed Scarfed. So we're waiting for him to pick his move. He's probably running calcs to see what all we can do. And he's probably trying to figure out what variant of Ambipom we are. I don't know if we've switched up moves yet. I think we did on Dawn Fan, but I could be mistaken. I don't remember exactly. But the gunk shot is going to take that thing out easy peasy lemon squeezy. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. You just been Hulk Hogan slammed. So that thing goes down. And we are looking at a 3-3 matchup right here. Unfortunately, his Scarfer is faster than our Scarfer if his thing is indeed Scarfed. And he's just going to be able to, if he's carrying it superpower, pretty much the rest of the match. So, nothing on my team wants to come in and take a superpower. Granted, things can live it, but they aren't going to be living too. And I forgot to edit out this little wonderful damage calc here, so you guys can enjoy me running this damage calc. And I'm checking to see... I must have cut off half of it. I was seeing how much damage the Hydreigon superpower did. Oh, nope, here it is again. Checking to see how much damage the Hydreigon superpower would do at level 50. And the original set is not a wall breaker set, so I had to improvise. But the superpower was just going to nail so many things on my team, it wasn't funny. Like I said, both Ruben and Kyurem at this point could come in and take superpowers, but we wouldn't be able to take the second. So we have to go ahead, and Ambipom's going to go down there. In hindsight, may not have been the best thing to sack off at that moment, but we still have some shenanigans in our back pocket which we think are going to help us through the end of this match. Now, with him being at -1 attack, I know I can bring in Excadrill and just wail on something. Because Excadrill is going to outspeed everything on the rest of his team, and I can two-shot anything that comes in. And I thought about going for X-Scissor, because if he stayed in, nothing I have on my set right now one-shots it outside of X-Scissor. And I thought about doubling out here to get Kyurem in, but I thought at this point he's probably just going to sack off the Florges, because that is going to be the least useful thing in the long run to him, and he does. I go for the Earthquake. That does more than enough to two-shot it, even after a turn of Protect and leftover recovery. Like I said, anything... He isn't going to switch out anymore because he doesn't want to be spreading around rocks damage any more than he already is. And that was the optimal play for him, because had I chosen to Rapid Spin there, not that it would have made terribly much sense, but he would have been able, I would have been locked into that, and he could have done anything he wanted at that point. So he's going to bring Duggernaut back out here, the Hydreigon, and I have to switch out here. Go into blue. I know that blue can take one, if not more. Is this where I stay in? or do I switch out here? I'm so lost in this match. So at +1, depending on his physical investment, there is like a 0.5% chance I could live this at the health I'm at with the HP investment I have. But if I were to switch in blue, blue would not be able to take 2. But we know with blue he's going to have to switch out. We'll be able to get the substitute up and Earth Power or Ice Beam accordingly as to what he brings in. And hopefully that combination is going to get us through the end of this match and a victory. So we're expecting the switch out here, and we are going to go straight away for the substitute. And we are going to be able to get off an Earth Power and Ice Beam combination. He does carry the Aura Sphere, so that means this is the hasty version, I think. But it's plus special attack, so that's no bueno. But that Earth Power did a huge amount of damage. I know an Ice Beam is going to be able to finish it off, and if you wanted to get tricky and try to save differential with switching out on the predicted Earth Power, I wanted the Ice Beam to hit it for sure on the switch in, and that would have actually been good for us. But unfortunately he's going to outspeed us here, and that is going to be a 1-0 victory for the Pelippers. So good game, John. Be sure and check him out. All the links will be down below for him and his stuff. But that is going to officially end the Pittsburgh Pirattatas Season 5 playoff race. Unfortunately, that just puts us too far behind everyone else in our division. We have the best division in the league, and that is going to make, yep, the playoffs just out of reach for us. So it was a good season, good bounce back season from last year. We still got 2 more games. We got to play Lars and A-Drive again, 2 guys I really just want to beat the crap out of because it'll be fun. But we'll have to wait and see what happens in the coming weeks. But alright guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't, and we will catch you on the flip side. Peace.